Good afternoon, everybody.
गुड आफ्टरनून सर।
सर कैसे हैं?
फाइन, बहुत अच्छा बैकग्राउंड है सर।
दिस इज फ्रॉम तालेवेली।
ओके,
सो इट्स ऑलरेडी 3.
Sir, shall we start or shall we wait another 1-2 minutes, sir?
It's up to you.
Sir, we'll wait for 2 minutes, sir. Can we?
Okay.
Okay, Vivek sir, can we start now?
भी नहीं किया आपको। Yes, we can start now.
Okay, good afternoon to everyone present here today, and I am Subbu Tarang. On behalf of Arunachal Pradesh Science Center, AP State Council for Science and Technology, Department of Science and Technology, Government of Arunachal Pradesh, welcomes you all to the occasion of Wildlife Week celebration 2021. And today we are very much privileged to have our resource person as our Dr. Bikramjit Sinha. He is a scientist E from Geological Survey of India, Northeastern Regional Center, Shillong, Meghalaya, who will be sharing us on the topic, the amazing wilderness of Arunachal, Himalaya, properties and priorities. Before we start, I would like to quickly introduce to you all our resource person, Dr. Bikramjit Sinha sir. Yes, sir has been very experienced in a geological expedition of northeastern region, especially our state Arunachal Pradesh. Along with this, sir has more than 10 to 15 qualification and trainings like climate change and carbon mitigation, RTI online training, mathematical modeling, etc. We are very much privileged to have you, sir, today. Sir was also as a faculty in our RGU in Rajiv Gandhi University with the potential of excellence in biodiversity during 2015, and sir has been awarded with and conference with Munu Zero Green Award in 2018, and also interviewed in Aaj Ki Mehman program of All India Radio on 2017. Sir is also awarded as a Young Scientist Project by DST during 2005 to 7. Sir has also been to foreign to study about nature and organization of science in Russia, and also Germany as a member of CSIR to study the feasibilities of CSIR Fraunhofer Corporation. And sir has more than 50 journal paper publication and also an author of more than 4 books on geological of Arunachal, especially Arunachal Pradesh. Sir has more than 20 to 30 abstracts and presentation, and also been as a resource person in more than 20 to 30 workshops and seminars. Sir is also membership in more than 10 technical committees, especially in the State Board of Wildlife, Foreign Research, Sanctuaries and National Park of Arunachal Pradesh. Sir, we are truly very much privileged to have you here today. I would like to give you time so that we can start with our program today. Thank you, sir.
Shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me first try to share the screen. I think you have disabled the.
Now, sir, it's open. You can share it now.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to thank the Arunachal Pradesh Council of Science and Technology, particularly Arunachal Pradesh Science Center, for giving me this opportunity to share some of my experience and understandings of the biodiversity of this Himalayan state of Arunachal Pradesh. I have kept the presentation very simple for the sake of understanding of all the stakeholders, starting from students to as government officials. So the title of our today's discussion is The Amazing Wilderness of Arunachal Himalayas, Properties and Priorities. Why I have kept this title as Arunachal Himalayas, not as Arunachal Pradesh. So you have, so you see this Arunachal Pradesh, most of the state comes under the Himalayan foothills, except part in the southeastern part, which comes under the Patkai range of the Purvanchal hills. So in my presentation and on my all this discussion and all, I frequently use the words Arunachal Himalayas and Arunachal Pradesh interchangeably, because I think these both are synonymous. So Arunachal Pradesh has a unique geophysical position in this Indian continent. It is nestled between the eastern Himalayas and the Indo-Burmese biodiversity hotspot, which are the two hotspots in our northeastern part. Others are the Western Ghats, and then another is in the Sunda land. Then again, the Arunachal Pradesh is located between the Palearctic and the Oriental biogeographic regions. And again, it is a meeting point of the Himalayas with the peninsular India. In the next few slides, I will just show you some of the things. Just you can see that this is the Himalayan biodiversity hotspot, that is Indo-Burma. So Arunachal Pradesh is lying here. So in this insert program, it is expanded. So you can see the position of the Arunachal Pradesh. Then again, you see this is the Palearctic biogeographic region, and this is the Oriental region, and it is Arunachal Pradesh is lying under this red line. So you can say that this is just the transition zone of this Palearctic region and the Oriental biogeographic region. Again, it is the Arunachal Pradesh is lying in the meeting point of the Himalayas with the peninsular India. So I term this biodiversity mine because Arunachal Pradesh is just like a gold mine in terms of biodiversity. It lies in the ecotone, or as well as the transition zone of this, as I mentioned in the earlier three areas with different biological features. So it possesses these biotic elements from all the conjoining areas, as well as it has its own components. It is because of the simple ecological principle of the S effect. In the right picture, you can see that there are two zones, zone A and zone B. So in that transition zone is called ecotone. So in that area, we'll have the spatial biodiversity from this zone A as well as zone B, and it will have its own unique components. So as a result of this, the Arunachal Pradesh biodiversity has elements from the Indo-Chinese, Indo-Malayan, Indo-Burmese, then Indian elements, and it has its own endemics. There are so many endemic species to Arunachal Pradesh, starting from higher vertebrates to the lower organisms. including the butterflies and moths. Arunachal Pradesh is also termed as a center of organic evolution. As I said earlier, so it lies in the transition zone of so many biogeographic regions of importance, and it has an altitudinal range from 50 meters to more than 7,000 meters in the state. So with this, the area harbors a lot of diverse habitats, starting from the like rivers, mountains, and then deep gorges, then high altitude lakes. So it is an ideal habitat, means area for the exchange of genetic material. So this is rightly termed as the center of organic evolution, and it has a lot of endemism, both in fauna and flora. Again, the state has a foreign diversity which is unmatched with any of the other states of the country. The state accounts for just 2.5% of the geographic area of the country, but it harbors more than 6,000 species. So, which accounts for the 6% of more than 6% of the total fauna known from India, and more than 20% of the fauna known from the Indian Himalayan region. So the uniqueness of the state is that you will find almost 9 unique faunal elements every square kilometer of the area you cross across the state. So this is much higher than the this national average of around 3 fauna per square kilometer of the country. So you see that Arunachal Pradesh has around 6,086 species, but this figure is tentative. This is means continuously changing almost every month, because there are new species are coming up. So why this state is unique is that it is the only state in the country to have the 4 large cats. This is we have the tiger, then the leopard, then again the leopard is the snow leopard, then we have the clouded leopard also. No others, you will not see all these 4 cats in one state or even in any of the states of the country. So we have around 7 species of fishing small cats. This is fishing cat, like marble cat, jungle cat, and golden cat. Among the now we have the Himalayan black bear, sloth bear, Himalayan sun bear, the red panda. So primates, we have around 8 species, of which this Arunachal macaque, which is endemic to this state of Arunachal Pradesh. And here is the flagship species of the state. That is the Missimi taki, which is seen in almost only in the this Dibang Valleys side, Dibang Hills, Missimi Hills. And we have around more than 900 species of birds in the state, which is one of the highest in the country. These are, you see, we have all different kinds of birds. This is a very beautiful, colorful sunbirds, then little bunting. Then this one of the important, very rare bird is this red crossbill, which can be seen only in the higher altitudes, more than 2,500 meters. The state also harbors all the 5 hornbill species. There is the great white hornbill, then red hornbill, then rufous hornbill. This is a unique assemblage of fauna in the state. So the state also experiences the migration of this black-necked crane. So in there, basically, are seen in the west coming districts, particularly in the Dirang area. So
क्या यूट्यूब पे तो दिखा रहा है।
हाँ यूट्यूब में तो दिखा रहा है।
some visitors are generally visit this West coming area to just to experience this majestic black-necked crane. So this is the white-bellied heron, one of the most rare and endangered species of birds in the world. This is found only in 2-3 countries: China, Myanmar, Bhutan, and India. In India, it is found only in Arunachal Pradesh. In Arunachal Pradesh also, it was found only in Namdapha site, but recently it has been sighted in Anjo district. So this is one of the flagship species of this Himalayan state of Arunachal Pradesh. I think there are some distortions in the photographs. So we have the state of Arunachal Pradesh is around more than 100 species of reptiles. Sorry, including snakes, then lizards. Among that, we have, there are 2 species of flying lizards. This is Draco species. This is the rare and threatened species of Tokai gecko. It is commonly found in the state, particularly in the human habitation areas, abandoned human habitation areas. Amphibia. The state also has a rich diversity. Recently, we have just completed a study on the amphibians of Arunachal Pradesh. So our study has increased the diversity of amphibians from around 67 species to 97 species. So by now it might have touched the century mark. So you can see that almost every month or every 2 months you get a new species from Arunachal Pradesh in any of the faunal groups. So it is continuously increasing. So one cannot keep in up to date this data. So these are again some of the frogs recorded particularly from the Tale Wildlife Sanctuary in the lower Subansiri district and Kamla district. And the peculiarity of this amphibian fauna of Arunachal Pradesh is it has a very good affinity with the Chinese elements as well as some affinity with African elements. So as I pointed out that it has a sorry, it lies in the transition zone between the Palearctic as well as the Oriental region. So it is a rich biodiversity. Fishes, we have around more than 250 species of diversity, out of which around 40 species are endemics to the state. One of the highest endemism group of animals. So I think this is the group in which most of the new species are discovered from Arunachal Pradesh. So butterflies, you see this is so beautiful and so different types of all the butterflies. Some important butterflies like this brown gorgon and then Gamun Nawab and all these things. So, but the thing is, except the higher, sorry. Except the higher vertebrates, we don't have a proper estimation of the other faunal groups. Like butterflies, we don't know how many butterflies are present in the state. Though we know about the diversity of butterflies in, say, Kameng Protected Area Complex, which comprises of our Eagle Nest Sanctuary, then Paket Tiger Reserve, the Singchun Bogun Community Reserve. We have again some idea about the butterfly diversity of Dihang Dibang Biosphere Reserve, but the state as a whole we don't have. So why I'm highlighting this is that when we talk about biodiversity or we talk about wildlife, so we are more concerned about the like higher vertebrates, so starting from mammal to just up to reptiles and amphibia. So we don't consider about the other groups. So the sister group of butterflies that that is moths, we don't know that not much about the moth diversity of the state. Sorry. So, as it has been pointed out, so the state has a rich biodiversity. So, most probably to protect this rich biodiversity of the state has done a lot of works. So, we have around 11 wildlife sanctuaries, 1 orchid sanctuary, 2 national parks, tiger reserves, and 1 biosphere reserves. Then elephant reserves are being created by combining the 2 or more protected areas. And in addition to that, some community reserves are also coming up in the state. That is also a very good sign. And you hardly see community reserves in other parts of the country. So the protected area network of the state accounts for around 12% of the total geography area of the state. And at the same time, it also accounts for almost 19% of the forest area of the state, which is around 51,000 square kilometer. So you can see the distribution of the protected areas in different parts of the state. And you see, as I pointed out, these elephant reserves are being created by combining the Namrapa Tiger Reserve and Kamlang Wildlife Sanctuary. Then again, another eagle elephant reserve is being created by combining Eagle Nest as well as Paketa Tiger Reserve. But one gap area you can see is that we don't have that much of protected area in the high altitude areas of the state, except the Hanglibang Biosphere Reserve. You see, this is the central and western Arunachal Pradesh high altitude areas. We don't have any protected areas or community reserves. So, but is having said that, this is much higher in comparison to other states. No state has this much of protected area within this their geographic boundary. So this is the Cesa Orchid Wildlife Sanctuary. Here I would like to highlight that this is the first of its kind in the world. It's dedicated in a sanctuary dedicated to a particular group of organisms, like a particular, not species. This is a group of organisms like orchids, and so far it was the first and the last orchid sanctuary in the world. Except last year, another orchid sanctuary came up in India itself, that is in the state of Sikkim. So we know, you see, the state government is doing its job and by declaring protected areas for particular groups also. And this is a unique example in the world. So having said that, is that all we can do? And shall we bet on our back, because we have done a lot of contribution to protect our biodiversity? This is a very tricky question, and you can see in the background one photograph that I have taken in the Singchun Bugun Community Reserve. At the first glance, I thought that this is some insects and all, but interestingly, it was found later on that this is nothing but a moth species, and this type of phenomena are very rarely seen. It's very rarely seen, but we have recorded this congregation of moths in the Singchun Bugun Community Reserve in the West Kameng district. So why I am putting this photograph in the background against the questions, because we have to do a lot of more things to protect our biodiversity, highlight our biodiversity, and highlight our rich wildlife. I'd say a big no for the earlier two questions, because you can see this is happening. This is just a tip of the iceberg, because these are only a few of the things that came into my hand. And apart from that, and all of you might be witnessing a lot of these type of things in different parts of the state. This is a very sorry state of affair. Some of the civil animals are being killed or hunted for recreational purpose or something like that. So, what can we do? What should be done next? So, I would like to share some of my things. What is the ways ahead? So, first of all, I think we need to change the notion wildlife means higher vertebrates. We have to give equal importance to the other groups of animals, starting from the insects, butterflies, then mollusks, because they have also their role in the ecosystem. Without them, the higher vertebrates, they cannot sustain themselves. So another issue that needs consideration is the comprehensive documentation of different faunal groups of the PS. So I'd like to share here that though there are a lot of protected areas in the state which are created for the protection of the wildlife, but we don't have a comprehensive document of the different faunal groups of any of the protected areas of the state. Except that recently, the JSI, we have taken up a project of Tale Wildlife Sanctuary. You can see in the map that during 3 years of survey, we could just cover a small part of the in the western side, then the northern side, then eastern side, then southeastern side, this side. Even after doing that, we have contributed around 10 new species of animals. Those new species means these are new to science. So, and another 26 new records to the faunal tally of the country, and as many as 72 number of species have been added to the faunal diversity of the state, only from the Tale Wildlife Sanctuary. Why it is not going? And sorry, this is okay. Another recent study, a few months only it came out. They have studied the moth diversity from Tale Wildlife Sanctuary, and they have recorded as many as 497 moths for Tale Wildlife Sanctuary, and out of which 17 are new records to have been added to the state faunal list. So in the picture you can see this is the very beautiful moth described from Tale Wildlife Sanctuary. It was incidentally photographed by an amateur photographer. He was not a professional taxonomist, he is a professional scientist. But he is an amateur butterfly lover. So after his documentation, so it was circulated among all the experts, and it came out to be a very interesting species, and it has been named as Apatani globi. So another study we have done in the Dihang Dibang Biosphere Reserve in the year 2017, we have organized an expedition of around 20 to 25 scientists from JSI from all across the country. So, but as you know, these Arunachal Pradesh terrains are very difficult. We could cover only the foothill areas of the DDBR. So it was very difficult to who go to the interior areas, and even it was not allowed by the security forces, so you can, because of security reasons. And moreover, the expedition was taking place, just after the Doklam incidents in 2017. So the area was very sensitive. So even then, we have our studies so far contributed 280 new faunal elements from the DDBR. So last week only I came from trip from Arunachal Pradesh to the Lal Anen Community Reserve. After doing almost 80 kilometers of trekking in this type of terrains. So why I am showing here is that you see within the near the very capital city of Itanagar, you have areas of interest like snowfall, for which like generally tourists are coming on Arunachal Pradesh to Tawang, and then the Zero side, then Mechuka. But nobody knows that the snow, one can witness snowfall in very near to Itanagar, the capital complex. It is not that very far, it is around 200 kilometers. After that, you have to trek around 20 to 25 kilometers. No doubt the treks are not that good. But the most important finding of the recent trip was that we could trace out, find out some fecal matter of red panda. In Arunachal Pradesh, so far, red panda has been recorded from this western Arunachal Pradesh in the Tawang side, and then from the Dibang Hills. But it was very interesting to find the traces of red panda in the center of the very center of the state. So it will be very interesting to study what is the traveling route or migration route of this red panda to this central part of the state. So how it came, what is the route it followed from Tawang or Dibang Valley. So it needs to be studied in detail. So why I am highlighting is that that one can just experience the this nature's beauty in very near to the capital complex. And as I have been telling that we need to change the notion that wildlife means higher vertebrates. These are some of the examples. In the left side, this is the Bhutan glory. This is the found only. Again, these two are very rare butterflies and very beautiful. While both of these two species are found in the West Command, particularly in the eagle nest area. The former, the first on left hand side, is available in the Thaler Wildlife Sanctuary. So my point is we don't highlight this type of interesting creatures for promoting our this wildlife, attracting our tourists. So in the lower side is a photograph of the Onychophora, this Typhlophetepetas williamsoni. And I would like to highlight here is that this is the only Onychophora species known from, not only from the state, it's from the whole country, the India. From India as a whole, only one Onychophora is known. That is this Typhlophetepetas williamsoni. Again, that is from Arunachal Pradesh, reported way back in 1913 from the Rotung area of Siang Valley. So we are not highlighting this type of uniqueness. We are not doing enough to protect this unique properties of biodiversity. This is the only one Onychophora found in the whole country. So you can imagine that its importance. So, but neither the state government nor the central authorities are looking into it. So we should actually, according to my opinion, at least we can declare the small area from where it was discovered as a small community reserve type of maybe 2-3 square kilometers, just to protect this unique element of fauna. Because after its discovery, so far it has not been reported from any part of the country, not from Arunachal Pradesh. Even we had Siam Valley, but we could not find. So this is very rare. So having said that, so what is the need of the hour is about human-wildlife conflict. As you might have witnessed, these are some of the just representative photographs. But in Arunachal Pradesh also, there are a lot of incidences, particularly this news of animals coming, damaging the crops, and sometimes attacking the animals. So what needs to be done is we have to reduce the habitat loss of the habitats or the degradation of the habitats. And for that, we have to do our development planning in a very sustainable manner. And another the critical issue that needs to be addressed very immediately is the participatory delineation of the protected area boundaries of all the PS of the state. As I have witnessed that none of the PS are properly demarcated. There is a contention between the officials and the villagers. So that needs to be delineated for a betterment of all the stakeholders, society as well as the biodiversity. Then we need to promote eco or wildlife tourism. I am not saying that Arunachal Pradesh is not attracting that much of tourism, but my point is, have we ever thought that how many tourists are coming actually to experience the wilderness? I mean to say, how many footfalls are happening in the protected areas, particularly. When people are going to Tawang, Jirosat, Pechuka, all these types of areas to have an experience of the nature, but to have an actual experience of the wildlife, how many people are coming? This is another area of study. Is that how many tourists are coming into the protected areas. That should be besides the researchers and officials visiting the protected areas. We need to count only the people they are just coming for the sake of enjoying the wildlife. So, and you see, I don't think there are as many tourists are coming like this in this particular state. Like in Assam, you can see that in Kaziranga, a lot of tourists are coming. That is also helping in the management of the conservation of the protected area. When you go to other parts of India, like Ghana, the Tiger Reserve, then Jim Corbett National Park, then you can go to Nandankanan in Orissa. So people are actually going to witness the thrill in the ex-situ in the wildlife beauty, and not going into the zoo. So we need to promote in a massive manner. So for all these things, the need of the hour is a massive capacity building of all the stakeholders. Some of them I have just listed here. We need to build the capacities of indigenous communities, CBOs, NGOs, school and college students, as well as researchers, as well as government officials. This will be regarding what? We need to create awareness of our resources, particularly wildlife, and its importance, both in the short run, in the long run. And then we need to build capacities in wildlife research and conservation. And the most important is that we have to promote and publicize the unique and rich wilderness of Arunachal Pradesh in a massive manner. So lastly, I like to say that let's act together because everybody has to act. So environment, including biodiversity, influences ethnic diversity. This is my understanding because this Arunachal Pradesh has a lot of biodiversity as well as ethnic diversity. My understanding is that this environment, including the this rich biodiversity, has contributed to the diversity of the ethnicity. Because you see, if we this transport species, group of species from say, Arunachal Pradesh to different parts of the country. So, say in Rajasthan, Western Ghats, or Sundarland, two things are possible. First things, either the species will not be able to cope up with the harsh conditions of that particular new area, and it will perish. Or otherwise, in another situation, the species will try to slowly adapt to the existing environmental conditions. So this both external as well as the internal genetic. That will take hundreds and thousands of years. So we need to protect our biodiversity. If biodiversity is there, I think we are there. Otherwise, we will not be nowhere. So lastly, I request everybody to let's help biodiversity to help us for the existence of this human race. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you, sir. We have some questions in our chat box
Okay.
from Vivek Kumar, sir. Can you
Okay.
please?
Just a chat box. No, first question from Vaibhav Kumar regarding the status of elephants. You see, you have sickness of elephant corridor, but no, the elephants are there. For practical experience, you have to go to the protected areas, and I have personally experienced elephant actually crossing through the corridors in like your Balapung area, that area we have seen. Then in Sipu area of Dolom means Talewaya sanctuary. In these two areas, I have personally witnessed the this crossing of these elephants. So I don't know the number of elephants available in the state, but no doubt the government officials they will be having at least the number in the protected areas. But in the wild, it will be difficult to guess. But elephants are there. They are moving from at least in the Balopung, then to the TP area. They are traveling from this Raimana National Park, then Raimana to
Hello. There is video freezing.
Yes, sir. There has been a network issue, sir.
Okay. I think sir is out of network.
Yes, sir. I think Bikram sir has left the meeting maybe by network issue or something.
Okay. From our side, it's okay, no?
Yes, sir. From our side, it's okay. So, so shall I end the meeting then, sir?
Yeah, in that very case. Let me talk to him also.
Okay, sir.
Oh,
Okay. Thank you everyone for participating on today's program. Due to some technical problem, we are unable to contact with our resource person. So we will end our today's program here. Thank you for participating once again.